Hey everyone, and welcome back to the channel. In tonight's video, I'm going to be doing a overview along with a little bit of shooting experiences with the Herrington Arms HC10 3.0 comp. Anybody who saw my last video, and if you haven't seen it, I encourage you to go back and take a look. I was going over the CZ P-10F. Did not have the comp or the primary machine threaded barrel for it, and I was mentioning and kind of comparing it to my Glock G17 Gen 5 that has the Parker Mountain machine comp and barrel. You believe in that video I mentioned that eventually I would like to get one. I'm not a very patient person, so after I made the last video and before I actually shot this for the first time, I did go ahead and purchase the Herrington Arms comp. Had a lot of decisions between different comps out there for the P-10. I should say a lot. There's about three. Between the Herrington, the primary machine, and then also the Parker Mountain machine. And what I really wanted to get, or I was really tempted to get at first, was the Parker Mountain machine due to the fact that I have it on my Glock and I really, really like how it performs on that one. I do want to take a minute real quick to say, though, if you do like this type of material, please hit the like button and subscribe. Go ahead and hit the bell notification so you'll get notices every time that I post a new video. But getting back into it, it came down between those three compensators, and while I really like the Parker Mountain machine, I did not really like so much the aesthetics of it. And I know absolutely function should be over form, but I heard really, really great things about the Herrington Arms. So that's what I decided to go with. I'm still very, very happy with the choice. Just speaking of aesthetic wise, you see, I do feel that it flows with the lines of the slide very, very well. You see how the serrations, these diagonal serrations, pretty much match up with the serrations on the slide. Very similar to how the serrations that I had cut by Hex Precision into this, it seems to match up a bit with the Parker Mountain machine. But anyway, back to this. I ended up picking up, I want to say that these things run about $90 from the website. And I noticed that, well, I was kind of sitting on the fence about it. What convinced me was that I noticed they had blems come into stock. The blems are only like $70, and I know $90 isn't really a ton of money. I just kind of felt that at 70, it was kind of a no-brainer to go ahead and give it a shot. So went ahead and picked one up, and as you can see from this, I don't know what's the blem about this. Many times when I buy blems, I can't tell. So just kind of on a side note, if you get your opportunity to buy a blem, most of the time you can't even tell how they are. But anyway, going back to the comp itself and how it's going to attach. So this model here is just the optics ready version. It's not the suppressor ready version. So it did not have a threaded barrel. When it came to threaded barrels, I couldn't find a CZ OEM threaded barrel for the life of me. And don't remember what the other options I was looking at, but I kept coming back to the primary machine. Definitely a very, very sharp looking barrel. As you can see, it has a spiral fluting on there. Even the machining that is on above the chamber looks very sharp. My one hesitation on this is that these barrels are not cheap at all. If I remember correctly, they're about $275, which a lot of money for a pistol barrel, at least in my eyes. One of the other things that I was kind of having heartburn with is that if you watch my other video, I only paid $400 for this CZ P-10F OR. But then one of the things that kind of stacks the price up a bit is this particular SKU model that I got did not have suppressor height sights on it. So once I added the red dot, you could not even begin to use the iron sights at all. So I ended up having to spend another, I think it was $70 or so for the night vision sights. So between that, the barrel, the comp, the costs on this thing have really kind of gotten out of control. But you know what? At the end of the day, you like what you like and you want what you want. So money well spent in my eyes. So going back to the comp itself and how it attaches, as you can see, there are two set screws here, one on each side. I think I mentioned, or I have mentioned in another video, that having set screws as an attachment, it's not my favorite method. I do really appreciate on the Parker Mountain machine, this tensions down just like you would a muzzle device on a rifle, like an AR-15, whereas it's really just tension and torque, and you use shims to get it lined up right. But that being said, You know, I have had an Agency Arms 417 comp on other Glock models, and it never worked itself loose. So one of the other things, though, is you can see that when the gun is in full recoil, the dust cover does capture part of the comp itself. So if it were to work itself loose, it's not going to spin itself back off. But from my experience, when you install these set screws, use a little bit of red Loctite. And I know you think, hey, those are going to be permanent, especially in these small little screws. I can tell you it's not. I haven't tried blue Loctite, but when I do use red, and I had 2 of the 417 comps that had a single set screw on the bottom, easily enough you were be able to get them back out. Definitely held the compensator tight, but they were not impossible to get back out. But took this out. I think we've been to the range 2 different times, my wife and I, as this is the wife's gun, and really I've been happy with it. I didn't shoot these 2 side by side, and I don't even know if that would really be fair or an apples to apples comparison. But I mentioned in my other video that the reason why I wanted to get a comp is that my wife really enjoyed my G17 and had the comp on it. I've had this set up for a couple of years, and this is by far her favorite shooter, even over my G35 that I had. So I wanted it to be very, very comparable. So definitely wanted to get a comp for it. So she liked it. She liked it a lot. Something that looks a little bit different on this gun, since I did a review on the P-10F itself, was that I added some of these Talon grips to it. The grips on the P10 is pretty sharp. It doesn't really bother my hands, but it's one of the things that she mentioned she was not thrilled about. So ended up getting these Talon grips. She hasn't shot it with them yet, but I can just tell from the feel it's going to be a lot better for her. But outside of that, again, I do feel it's a very effective comp, very comparable to the PMM. I'm going to roll some video in of showing her shooting it, the G17 with the PMM comp, and then the Herrington Arms the P10F with the Herrington Arms comp. You know, my wife, she does go out with me. I don't even want to say it semi-regularly, but at least a few times a year. She's definitely up for it. It's just, time and family kind of get in the way. So she doesn't go out as much as she would like to. I would say that she's still a novice, but she has some good fundamentals down. So when you see the video, you'll see some shots she takes. Maybe she didn't have the best grip on it because there's a little bit more muzzle rise than you would see in other shots. But I think this is a pretty good side-by-side comparison between the two, of how somebody who isn't a pro shooter, how the gun handles and recoils for them with the 2 comps on it. And on top of that, I'll roll in a short little clip of me doing a little bit more rapid fire. I am by no means a pro shooter, but I do have a better grip and some better fundamentals than my wife does. So maybe that'll give you a better idea of the effectiveness of the comp, if you're kind of sitting on the fence if it makes a difference or not. And I will say also that in the videos, at no point are we using plus P ammo. I don't even think I've ever shot plus P ammo, but I know that a lot of people say, and it's probably true, is that where comps really, really become effective and where they shine is when you are shooting plus P ammo. But I will say they are also still effective when you're shooting just standard velocity stuff. So let me go ahead and roll in that video. There you go. So one thing you may have noticed in the video is that with the comp on here, the empty cases really just kind of get lobbed just gently out of the chamber. Did experience a couple of malfunctions, stovepipe malfunctions with this. I don't know if it's because it was a brand new gun, it was still breaking in, or if it was just due to my wife maybe limp wristing a little bit and it wasn't quite stout enough to get full recoil on it. So I will say though that after the first range trip and the couple of malfunctions that she ran into, we didn't run into any more after that. So I do want to maybe make a guess that it was really more so of the gun breaking itself in. Like I mentioned, we didn't even shoot this thing at all before we added all this stuff to it. So see, Herrington Arms HC10 3.0, very sharp looking, and in my mind, definitely worth the money for just the comp itself. Especially if you already have an OEM threaded barrel, which this comp will work with. Go check them out, HarringtonArms.com. If you're really interested in it, definitely worth the money, even at 90 bucks. So hope you enjoyed the video. And again, I just want to remind you, if you like this content, please like and subscribe. Hit the notification button. Definitely appreciate all of the feedback I've been getting, along with all of the newer subscribers. I think we're cutting close to about 2,000 now, which for my channel and for me, that's huge, and I appreciate it. Love all of you guys. Have a good one.